This is a hat trick
podcast.
Oh, lovely.
Welcome to In the News This Week, the podcast from some of the team who've worked on Have I Got News For You?
I'm Paston.
I'm Mike Rayment.
I'm Queenie Miller.
And I'm Jach Harris.
We'll be taking you through the big and not so big stories in the news this week when the TV show can't.
Think of it like this. If the main show includes serious political discourse, then we're Ed Davies' TikTok.
The happiest place on the internet.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
It says here I have to ask how you've been.
Well, I was pretty gutted because I thought I was never going to see Ed Davies' TikTok again. And then President Trump saved us. So
You're back in America now, so you're already talking about Trump in a good way.
exactly. You've got to now. That's the law.
Genuinely, are you going to have to watch what you say, Jack, now? You're going to have to talk about the Gulf of America.
It is the Gulf of America, officially.
Yeah, oh my God. Already.
I'm not even supposed to be speaking to you guys. It's treasonous to speak to any Brits. The fact that I'm even speaking in a British accent is sketchy, to say the least.
That's illegal
Yeah,
already.
it's only because I'm in a room with no one else. As soon as I step out this door, it's like, yeah.
I'm 90% certain you actually haven't gone to America and you're like in a office in Ruislip that you've hired. I should also say, Emerald is still away this week, having an amazing time gallivanting around the world, pretending it's not on fire.
Oh, that's exciting.
She's left us another voice note.
Great.
Shall we have a listen?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Hello, sorry I can't be with you for another week, but I'm still on my travels in Asia. And I know you guys are going to be hearing a lot about Donald Trump this week. So I thought I would provide you with a palate cleanser, some inspirational quotes from other politicians that I have recorded to different soundscapes on my travels around Southeast Asia. So here's your first soundscape. I am currently standing in the sea off the island of Sentosa, which is in Singapore, and in a very Singapore way there is free Wi-Fi across the whole island. I thought I would give you guys a calming pearl of wisdom from the brain of Liz Truss, and that is, if I do feel scared, I deliberately challenge myself not to feel scared.
Amazing.
Hello, it's me again. Right now I am in a food court in one of Kuala Lumpur's many shopping centres. All this food reminds me of an inspirational quote from Kemi Badenoch, and that is, lunch is for wimps. But you know what? I'm feeling wimpy, so I'm going to get myself some wonton noodles. See you! Me again. I am now in my friend's apartment in Bangkok, and I thought I would finish off with an upbeat quote from Keir Starmer. So here it is. Oh, wait a minute. I couldn't find a single interesting thing he said. Hope that's helped, though. Bye.
Oh my God, she's just amazing,
Emerald's
isn't she?
constantly raising the bar for this podcast.
Just the sound design in itself was pretty amazing.
Can I get the Liz Truss one with the waves in the background as an audiobook? Do you reckon?
I liked it because after she said the Liz Truss quote and there was a wave crash, it did sound a bit like a toilet flushing, which felt very apt. Genuinely, that's made me feel a million times better.
No, I'm enraged.
Yeah, I'm furious. She's
I'm
on holiday.
furious.
I'm absolutely,
You're just absolutely burning with jealousy.
yeah. I like that. That's made me so sad. I'm not sat in the sea.
I suppose we've put it off long enough. We're going to discuss the big news story of the week.
Yeah.
Should Ange Postecoglou be kept on? Just in case anyone has been living under a rock, this is Donald Trump's return to the White House.
It was an absolute criminal convention, the inauguration. Didn't you think?
What, Fashion Police, Melania's outfit?
Her hat.
The social distancing hat. I loved it.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
The designer, he admitted that the original hat design was damaged in transit because of a snowstorm. So we had to rethink the design, which is like straight out of the school of like my dog ate my homework style. Like, what? Nothing to do with the hat. It was a snowstorm that fucked it up. And you're like, well,
Yeah.
I mean, is that after people compared it to the Hamburglar or before that you kind of admitted that? So
It reminded me a bit of Odd Job's hat from Goldfinger.
Yeah.
oh yeah, you can just
I
imagine.
think, yeah, it's got a silver rim, and when Trump tries to sneak into her room for a bit of hanky-panky shot, across the room with the hat.
I mean, there are a number of times she could have pulled out that hat in his like second speech, his like unofficial speech, which was done later on, where he thanked every single member of his family and JD Vance and JD Vance's wife and missed out Melania.
In his defence, he is a 78-year-old man freestyling.
Senior moment.
Like,
It took like 3 minutes, 45 seconds for one of us to go, in defence of Trump.
no, that's my vibe. That's
Yeah.
me for the next 4 years. Sorry,
Fair
guys.
enough.
Strap in.
He's funny.
Yeah, so he's 78, 158 days older than Biden was when he took power. So,
Well, thank God Biden isn't alive to see this.
I have to say, when they lined up outside the White House to have their little thing, it was like Biden was getting taken on a day out. It was like he didn't have a clue what was going on. Imagine if he actually was in charge for the next 4 years. And you'd see him sort of there, held by the elbow by Jill Biden. It does feel like, has the right decision been made? Who knows? But
Christ.
would it have been a lot worse if Joe Biden was there as an old man?
yeah. He signed a lot of pardons, didn't he, again, before he left? He pardoned all his family. You can imagine them sort of holding his hand and pushing it on the paper, saying the executive order. So again, it's just yet more hypocrisy.
Trump said something. It sounds like I'm just defending Trump, but he said something which was kind of actually made sense. He was like, it's unbelievable precedent it creates for a president to make those pardons before you leave. And he said, now every president that leaves the office will pardon every person they met. And then when a reporter said, well, are you going to do that? He was like, no, I won't do that. But you're like...
But he had his fingers crossed behind his back when he said it. So
it's mad that that's the legacy of Biden, is going to be he pardoned loads of people when... He said he wasn't.
Well, then Trump pardoned 1,600 people for the riots.
Yeah.
Which is quite the number for your first day.
So he gave a pardon to all the January 6th convictions, right? Including people who had been violent or been convicted of violent crimes. Who do you think said this? If you committed violence on that day, obviously you shouldn't be pardoned.
is it Donald Trump?
Donald J. Trump.
Close. It was J.D. Vance said that before it happened, but then he was straight into it.
It's interesting how different the vibe is this time around. Like when Trump first came in, everyone's like, oh, get ready for the shit show. It's not going to last 4 years. And everyone just kind of spent 4 years dunking on him. You know, screw this guy. He's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. And this time around, there's a real sense of, literally the whole world is sort of going, no, it's okay, Donald.
Yeah.
We all like and respect you.
Oh,
Please
God.
don't mess with our stuff.
I mean, he signed all these executive orders, right? That was the first, that kind of, like you're saying, it's like the difference between the first time he came in is that he just came in and he's like done the US government only recognising 2 genders, the Mexico and Canada tariffs. You've got the ending the birthright citizenship. So not automatically getting citizenship if you're born in the country.
The birthright order, I see 18 states have already announced they're going to sue him.
But do you know that I read about that, and the problem you've got is that I think they want that to happen because then they reckon it'll go to the Supreme Court. And because they're so stacked in the Supreme Court. So like I think that's their plan, is for it to get challenged legally in order for it to go to the Supreme Court. But what is the big undoing with the inauguration? Because he's got to try and get these spending plans through. But I read there's one thing that could kind of cause him to slip up, because obviously you've got to get through Congress. Do you know what the big thing they're kind of saying?
I thought the House and the Senate were all Republican, so maybe it's not something to do with that.
They are, but it is something to do with the people who sit in the House and Senate.
Okay.
They were pissed off about the inauguration.
Who sat where?
The seating plan. The seating plan
God.
could be the reason.
I was going to say it had to be the seat.
Why?
Well, because someone got put actually next to Trump. Or someone had to sit next to Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
With his weird hair.
Talking about warrior culture and
Feminist energy.
They were all acting so... The vibe in there was terrifying.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg was caught looking down Jeff Bezos' wife's shirt, and then Musk was in the back looking like kind of he was tweaking out. I think he was slightly too far away from Trump, and it made him have a little tantrum.
Zuckerberg checking out someone's chest is just, he's gone full Trump, hasn't he? He's like really trying to become more and more like the main man. So he's like, well, if I'm spotted doing that, it shows that I've got real masculine energy. Checking out people's boobs.
Oh, and we haven't even gotten to one of the main things to come out of the last few days.
Yeah.
Elon Musk's address, in which he did a certain hand signal.
Essentially what he's done is, in the middle of his speech, he's put his hand to his heart and then put his hand out straight. And it's very clear that it's a Nazi salute is what he's being accused of doing. You know, it's impossible to say what someone's doing or is deliberately done, but it looks like a Nazi salute.
It is pretty shocking.
Listen, he was not in control of his limbs.
Oh my God.
He's an awkward, clumsy guy.
Have they paid you off?
No, this is what I enjoy seeing is like there were quite a few articles where people are saying, you know, he's an awkward guy. He doesn't really know what he's doing. And you're like, it's pretty Sikh highly.
Yeah. What if he did a Heil Hitler because he has anxiety?
What if he invaded Poland because he was anxious?
That's kind of the response.
I mean, the other thing is, for a guy who keeps defending people like Tommy Robinson and goes on calls with the far right, and not like the right, the far right in Germany and in Italy. There's no smoke without fire.
Yeah.
It's pretty damning.
The billionaire elite now run America.
It's the richest cabinet ever. in his cabinet, he has 13 billionaires. It's for the people, really, more than anything. But it's a very American thing to be like, well, those people are really successful, so they should be in charge. They're living the true American dream. Whereas I think if that was the equivalent over here and it was like a UK cabinet filled with billionaires.
I mean, they definitely wouldn't be in power for 14 years if the richest people in the country decided to get together, form a political party. They definitely wouldn't be in power for the majority of the last 80 to 100 years.
That's one of the big things as well. The guests, all the British guests, I enjoyed seeing what the lineup. A lot of people making a big deal about the fact that Starmer wasn't there, but there hasn't been any sitting prime ministers that have actually gone to inaugurations, so it's not that big a deal. But they didn't send anyone over. Obviously, Liz Truss was there, your friend of mine.
Suella Braverman was there.
Who did you see the video that she filmed?
Yes, I did.
Just looked like she was being projected onto the back of a spoon. Do you know what I mean? The camera
yeah.
was so close to her face. I don't know why they filmed it so closely.
If you looked round the side of her face, you could see Lawrence Fox, who they happened to be on the same plane.
He was in Washington, wasn't he? Priti Patel was there.
Oh my God.
I liked that it was put inside. Obviously, they had to take it indoors because there was...
It was like -4, I think it was the temperature.
Yeah, I saw a headline saying they were warning about an ugly front approaching Washington, and then I scrolled up and the next thing was a picture of Nigel Farage on my computer, and I was like, yeah, checks out.
I don't know if you saw the speech that happened the night before on the Sunday where he was in Washington. He was sort of giving a rally. And at the end, he said, "Make America Great Again." And then you heard, "Da, da, da," and the Village People came on. And it's the weirdest thing because it was the campest thing you've ever seen. It's like we talk about warrior energy and masculine energy and like we don't want it to be too much feminine energy in the office. And some guy walks on in leather chaps and starts doing the YMCA and you think, these things just don't match up. I love it. I love to see it. And I can say it as an outsider. But I think for a lot of Americans, they're just like, what is going on, man?
Do you know what's funny is Nigel Farage?
Oh, yes.
He retweeted that video and said, "We'll never see the like of this again.
We will never see anything quite like this ever again."
Yeah. And I was just like, no shit. The president next to a guy dancing as a naked Native American.
But those sort of things are just so disarming because you go, that's really funny. And then he signs some fucking mad executive order where he just kind of like...
We're going to turn Mexico into one big Chipotle.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That's why they're building the wall. It's the start of the shop.
So I don't know if I'd mentioned to you guys already, but I'm in America at the moment.
Here we go. Yeah, once or twice.
I know you're all excited, but one of the things that was really helpful for me last time I was here was getting NordVPN on my laptop. A VPN is a virtual private network, which basically means it encrypts your online activity and hides your IP address. So it meant I could stream a load of British content while being out in the UK without any of the usual faff of being blocked, which was really helpful for work.
And this time it means you can keep up with the traitors, right?
Well, I'll be working very hard on the new series of Have I Got News for You US, but yes. Also, it means things like my personal details are protected when I'm using a Wi-Fi network that I don't know very well, like I'm in a hotel or an airport or a cafe.
Wait, you're in America?
Sorry guys, gotta go. I'm just gonna go pop to the shops for some disgustingly expensive antiperspirant. Or as we say in America, head to the store.
Give me strength.
To get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/inthenews.
Our link will also give you 4 extra months on the 2-year plan, and there's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee.
You can find the link in the podcast episode description box.
Welcome back to In the News this week. It's time now for round 2. Well, we'll each bring a story from the past week that we think will be perfect for round 2 of the show. Queenie, what you got?
So, my round 2 story this week is that scientists have discovered a new sea bug named, does anyone see this?
No.
Reginald?
Darth Vader.
Oh.
Essentially, it's this kind of carboniferous, huge...
Carboniferous? What the hell is a carboniferous?
Carboniferous is a great word.
What does that mean?
I used to work on QI, so it's like the only thing I remembered. It's just the era of time. You know, with the big bugs in the sea?
I love the way you started out saying, I used to work on QI, and then you ended the sentence with, just kind of the big bugs in the sea.
Well, I'm trying to dumb it down for you guys.
That's good, thanks.
Got you. No,
good.
you know, like the
that was
Cambrian
good.
explosion type of...
Oh, yeah.
One of the-
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cambrian Explosion, yeah.
I like their first album.
Not that good live, though. Not that good live.
No.
Can someone help me out on the name of that bug that's in the bark.
Bug that's in bark.
Woodlouse. It's basically a giant
Whoa,
woodlouse.
hold on. No.
No.
You can't come up
No.
with carnivorous or whatever the word was.
Carboniferous.
And then not remember the term for woodlouse. All your work at seeming smart has just gone down the toilet, Queenie. You can't remember woodlouse, mate. You've got to at least remember those things. You can't be using big words and then...
It's because Americans call them like roly-polies or something stupid.
Nah,
because they have
no,
the like
we're
symbol.
not.
So
We've
that was in
blamed
my
the
head.
Americans for enough in the first section. You now cannot blame them for something
So
else.
you got this picture of it, Queenie?
Oh, that is disgusting. Just for the people who are listening, this guy's holding what looks like a kind
It looks
of...
a bit like a woodlouse to me.
a sea woodlouse.
I've actually seen that before. I think he was in the second row at Trump's inauguration.
It's huge. It's like
It's a scaly...
40 centimetres long. And the guy holding it is so happy for some reason.
Well, he's just discovered a new species. The reason I found this interesting is because immediately scientists were like, it's going to be extinct in the next couple of years because it's delicious.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
They started eating it.
No.
They started eating it immediately off the bat.
You don't want to eat one off a bat. That's how a lot of problems started last time with COVID.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it's called Darth Vader.
Thank you for asking, Mike.
It's got respiratory problems.
The kind of crest of its head is the same as the bulbous shape of Darth Vader's helmet, was their reasoning.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I imagine the nerds who discovered this were just really happy that they could name it after one of their nerdy interests. Mike, would you name this animal after any of your Warhammer?
I probably shouldn't say this, but I do actually have a thing where I put Warhammer references into TV shows I work on.
You probably shouldn't say this, no.
I'd like to think that every now and again someone who likes Warhammer watches it and goes, oh, nice little reference.
What, you're watching like Would I Lie to You? And then someone starts talking about Tyranids.
I once had a Tyranid invasion on my home planet. True or false? What I would say is, though, I was obsessed with trying to get Warhammer Odd One Out onto the show last series. And Richard, our exec, he has an incredible filter for blocking that stuff out. Queenie, I love how horrendous and weird that is.
Thank you. I just wanted to keep it in line with the American news.
I would say just keep it in line with your brand.
Yeah, that too.
I've also got a round two story. I'm not going to tell you the story. I'm going to give you a clue to my story.
Do it.
A Japanese noodle pot, some French breakfast cereal, a cursed statue, and a llama wearing lipstick. Now, if that's the answer, what's the question?
Oh, man. I mean, it sounds like some of the people that Trump considered for his cabinet picks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cursed statue is now in charge of energy.
Robert Kennedy Jr.
No, he's the llama in lipstick. No, that's Kristi Noem, isn't it?
I like Japanese noodle pot probably would be what Trump would call the Japanese PM if he annoyed him.
Oh, that's so true. Are they all insults that Trump has used for other world leaders?
It's really good.
I wish that was the case. It's actually, they're all in the running to be crowned the winner of Britain's weirdest holiday souvenir.
Oh, nice.
Amazing.
The winner was announced this week, so I'm actually going to show you the four. I want to see if you can guess which one. So there's some Golden Grahams, which aren't sold in the UK anymore.
They're not.
There's your llama. It's actually a dog toy.
Oh, yeah, looks good.
So it's a llama in lipstick and flip-flops.
God, it's pretty good looking. It's wearing a one piece to it and it's got breasts.
Yeah, and it comes from Greece, and it's got a little collar. It's quite cheeky.
Cheeky.
Ooh, that one wins.
There's
for me.
a Bigfoot.
Canned Sasquatch.
Yeah.
It basically looks like a tinned good with a little cartoon of Bigfoot on it, but which could contain all manners of meat. Hooves, peni, livers, probably.
So pretty much any other tinned meat in any supermarket in the world.
Yeah, very good point, Mike.
May contain nuts. And then lastly, a cursed statue from Ibiza.
Are you saying this is cursed because you don't like the look of it?
No, the person who owns it says it's cursed.
To describe to the listener, it is, I'm going to say, a young girl with a huge head feeding a lamb, but with eyes drawn on with a Sharpie.
I was going to say she has really good eyeliner.
Yeah.
I'm going to copy that.
It looks like someone's tried to create her out of pottery. It's like what I imagine, no offence, Mum, my mum's first attempt at a statue, and that I would have to accept as a Christmas gift and get it out every time she visits.
And then you go to get it out and it's moved.
Its head's turned 180 degrees.
She looks like the bad woman from Chicken Run.
Mrs. Tweedy.
What a baddie from Chicken Run.
What a reference.
So, any ideas what won Britain's weirdest souvenir?
The tin Sasquatch is quite fun. I'm thinking that the cursed statue is probably winning because it is pretty terrible.
I'm going to go for the llama, purely because it has no top legs.
Yeah.
And I think that's quite gross.
I can reveal The llama came second. Inexplicably, the cereal came third. And
That's really
first place
fine.
was in fact the creepy statue. So the statue of a girl from Ibiza, its owner Niall Pennington from Sheffield told the Daily Mirror, "When we came across this little lady in a charity warehouse, we knew we had to buy her," adding, "Since we brought it home, I've seen it moving. She just has this menacing aura, which is one of the reasons we were initially drawn to the statue."
Does the owner of it have to also be creepy? Because he sounds... I wouldn't want to meet him at a pub with the way he's describing that statue.
I've been keeping a bit quiet about this story because I realised as you went further along that this is something I do when I go on holiday. I have loads of little creepy baby China dolls.
That line, when it said she just has this menacing aura, which is one of the reasons we were initially drawn to her, sounds like someone explaining why you were on this podcast, Queenie.
Thanks.
Or employed on the show.
That's really nice to hear.
I
I'm
genuinely
genuinely flattered.
I know we don't normally say nice things to each other on the show, but I thought you'd enjoy that.
Thanks, Mike.
Jach, what have you got for us for round two?
So, Mike, it's a small story, but I quite enjoyed it. It's in Germany. Basically, this guy was found to be clinging onto the outside of a train, which was going 175 miles per hour, because he got off at one stop for a cigarette break. And he realised as the doors closed that all his luggage was still on the train, so he just clung onto the side of it. And he held on for 20 miles on this train that's going 175 miles per hour. But, I mean, the reason I quite like this story is because he got noticed by some witnesses and the police stopped the train. And it turns out he didn't actually have a valid ticket. So he got done for not having a valid ticket. Which I was like, what a way to find out that you're like a fare dodger by doing that.
Is there a special ticket for clinging onto the outside of the train in Germany?
And we're sure it's not Tom Cruise.
It isn't.
Like training for Mission Impossible 17 or whatever.
Has the budget really gone down, where it's just him doing his daily commute from Berlin to like Hamburg?
He'd be much better off doing that in the UK. Firstly, you're not going to find a train that runs at 175 miles per hour in the UK.
No, cancelled all those, mate.
Yeah, most of them are never going to reach it. And secondly, this like rail passenger watchdog have urged like UK rail firms to give yellow card warnings instead of penalties when people like evade fares. So their idea is like, if it's like a first time offence, you get a yellow card and then your name gets taken in some kind of record, right? And then the second time you come to do it, that's when you get a fine. And I think it's a really good idea because obviously there's absolutely no way around that. It's a rock solid, foolproof system that absolutely nobody can subvert in any way.
Depends how many names you can think of.
That's it, Mike. Listen, I reckon I could come up with maybe 9 names off the top of my head. So I've got 9 chances to evade a fare. Comes to the 10th time, I'm done for. I'm screwed. I'm paying that.
I got a penalty recently because I went to Heathrow on the Heathrow Express and I tapped in and there's signs everywhere and on all of the barriers, every single one that says don't tap in here, you will get fined. Didn't see him, obviously. Got on the train. The guy, he was like, do you have a ticket? No. Showed me a screenshot of that, looked at me really disappointingly and then didn't find me. And I think that was worse.
You got a yellow card.
She didn't even get a yellow card. She got off with it. It's like when the ref doesn't want to book someone too early.
I got off with an eye roll.
You'd rather pay money than eye roll. That's it. I love it.
It was really damning. It took a hit to my self-esteem.
Well, you know how to get around both an eye roll or a fine. Just jump on the outside of the train next time.
What happened to the guy, Joe?
He was all right. He was
all right?
Yeah, he's fine. He just had a little journey outside for 20 miles and then he got fined for not having a ticket.
You know, there's actually a German word for being stuck on the outside of a train with the inability to get in.
Is there?
No.
I think the English term is fuck.
And finally, it's time for round 3, the missing words round. I'm going to read out some news headlines from the past week and you need to tell me what the missing words are. Here's your first one. New technology will be able to what MPs?
Oh.
Give them a personality.
Decipher.
Oh.
Is that right? You made it sound like that was right.
That's not far off. New technology will be able to tell what's going on inside the heads of MPs.
Oh, I read about this. Yeah.
So it's this AI technology they're devising, which is supposedly going to help work out what MPs think of issues and bills and then be able to help sort of circumnavigate any potential rows. And the problem being that requires logic. And MPs love to row.
I'm just going to say off the bat, all they're going to find is those monkeys with the cymbals clapping.
Just a hamster going round in a wheel.
Yeah.
But I read about this, and the example they gave was like, oh, we go on past records, and like, for example, if someone's going to put forward higher taxes, the Conservative MPs probably won't like that. And you're like, what? Why do I need AI to tell me that?
Okay, next. 10% of Brits admit using gravy to what?
Bathing.
I think that'd be higher than 10%.
Yeah.
I wasn't accounting for Stoke-on-Trent.
Gravy to hide the inadequacies of their cooking.
It's a culinary thing.
Okay.
Add to your risotto to make it a bit more British.
Oh, nice.
That made me a little bit hungry, if I'm honest.
Yeah, British risotto.
It's 10% of Brits admit using gravy to pour on their fry-ups.
Oh my God.
Front page of the Daily Star this week.
It is big
which
news.
is quite a big call. You go, inauguration, gravy on fry-ups.
As a proud fellow of the English Breakfast Society, which is an honour I got from the first series I was on with you, Jach, I think for a guest publication, we contacted the English Breakfast Society run by Guys Buell. Amazing guest publication that we had on. I got a fellowship from there, which doesn't really mean anything apart from my name's on a website. And then he made Jach and a couple of the producers, I think maybe Mike.
Well, he made you one, and then if you go onto the website, it's like a random name. It isn't even like an actual name.
But I feel really inclined to speak on this, and I think it is really important.
As a member of the Breakfast Society, I think gravy has a place on fry-ups.
Look, I can't not see it. It's not personally something I'm going to try right now, but the fact that some people have chips on fry-ups is kind of divisive discourse anyway. But I can put chips and gravy together.
Yeah, I'm down there as Jach, Jach Harris.
He wasn't even listening to the rest of that. He was just looking at the website.
I wondered what was going on.
I didn't know what you're talking
Harris.
about. I wasn't interested. I just wanted to see what stupid name I've been given.
This could have been sabotage from me.
You know you shouldn't have told us this. We're just going to call you Jach.
Jach Harris.
Jach Harris.
Jach.
It's so easy.
Jach Harris.
That's it.
Congratulations to Jason Havard, who made us laugh the most with their response to our missing words round on Instagram, where they said 10% of Brits admit using gravy to make life bearable.
A suitable answer for this week, I think.
Yeah.
Funny because it's true. And also one of the least disturbing answers people gave on what they'd like to do with gravy. Okay, I'll do one more. Holding a spanking paddle and a flamethrower, then you're probably what?
Elon Musk.
I was going to say Michael Gove.
You're probably having a great time.
Yeah, but I would say put Elon Musk and a great time together.
An exploding rocket.
It's holding a spanking paddle and a flamethrower, then you're probably in the MAGA Superstore.
Oh,
So this was part of the coverage I saw this week. There's a MAGA Superstore.
Wait, where is it?
Don't tell him because he'll leave the podcast recording to go.
No,
Yeah.
if it was in New York, I'd absolutely love it. I'd be there.
Sadly, it's not in New York, Jack. It's in Orlando, Florida.
Oh, gutted.
But it was great. There's lots of people going in, and it's just like, I'm going to put MAGA and Trump on every single conceivable item that I can. So just people coming out with handfuls of stuff where it's like an egg whisk, a spank paddle, a flamethrower.
Spank paddle. Make America
Makes
great
me
again.
really
Written
sad.
across a spank paddle.
Yeah. Make America ache again. Sorry.
Stealing a story from someone that I work with who is from Florida when she went back, having done the first series of Have I Got News for the US, but she went back to Florida where she's from and was saying about the show. And someone said, oh, what channel is it on? And she said, CNN. And they went, oh, is that the Christian network? So you kind of think they're just on a different planet.
I thought they just asked if that's the Crocodile Network. I think it's Florida.
Just keeping track of what's going on.
Like, it's one of the two.
The Christian Crocodile Network.
A lot of dangerous baptisms. Thank you for listening to In the News this week. If you've enjoyed this episode, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
For updates on the show, make sure you're following Have I Got News for You on Instagram, TikTok and Twitter.
You can also get in touch with us by emailing podcast@hattrick.com. That's Hattrick with 2 T's.
Make sure you're followed and subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening to it now, and we'll see you here for next week's episode. Bye!
Bye.
Bye, Jach.
Bye, Jach.
God damn it!
In the News this week is presented by Jach Harris, Queenie Miller, Emerald Paston and Mike Rayment. The producer is Diggory Waite. The engineer is John Wakefield. The executive producer is Claire Broughton. And the music is by Big George. In the News this week is a Hattrick podcast.